on tap is a battle between the top two teams in the Greater Miami Conference. It's Fairfield and Lakota East. It's the GMC on Chatterbox Live. And good evening from Liberty Township, the Hawks Nest. I'm Jeff Kim. Trace Fowler to join me in just a moment. In games you saw right here on Chatterbox Live 3 nights ago, it was Lakota East defeating Middletown 49-39. It was the first game in 3 weeks for the Thunderhawks as Nate Johnson led the way with 15 points. Meanwhile, the Indians got 44 combined points from Deshaun Krim and Logan Woods, blowing out Lakota West 69-49. Fairfield was dominating on the glass, out-rebounding the Firebirds 39-21. So as we bring in Trace, let's start with the Indians. 7-16 a year ago. DJ Wyrick got his first taste of the GMC this year. His team is anchored by a pair of dynamic guards in the sophomore Krim and the junior Woods, averaging about 33 points a game as a tandem. Does Fairfield need some help down the stretch, or can they let it ride with these terrific guards?
Well, they got 2 great guards, obviously, and I think that the biggest thing would be tonight, can they hold up to the test of a big GMC game in regards to the pressure? You know, they're not used to being in these games, I guess, if you will. Last year they were probably in the middle of the pack at the GMC, and they really never got a taste of what it's like at the top. East, on the other hand, has been here. They've run this league, if you will, for multiple years. Those 2 guys are talented, but I don't know if they're just enough. I think it's going to take a group effort, whether it be someone like coming off the bench like Poppy, or I should say Pope, Merlin Pope the fourth. It's just a matter of finding one dynamic guy on Fairfield for them to pull off the upset. I do think it's going to take more than just those 2, although they are great.
Meanwhile, on the other side, it's the same old song for the Thunderhawks with a slightly different approach. 3-1 overall, 3-0 in the conference. Great on-the-ball defense as usual. However, they're getting out-rebounded on a nightly basis. Now, they are shooting the lights out from the floor. However, it is a small sample size. Can they keep up their stellar shooting?
I don't know if they're going to shoot as well as they've been shooting. I think they got off to an incredible start against Middletown the other night, and that's really what was the difference there for 3.5 quarters, if you will. Middletown pulled in tight, tested this East squad. I think East, they got to figure out a way to play all 4 quarters. You know, they found, I think maybe the first night was the only night I thought they played 4 quarters well against Hamilton when we had seen them. Then they obviously had 2 games where they were absent, if you will, for 1 quarter. Whether it's the first, the third, the fourth, the second, it doesn't matter. Some of that we can blame on COVID, quite frankly. Sure. And that is perhaps the missing piece to this for this Hawks team is can they find a way to consistently get some reps in, get some games in, and finish. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to keep shooting 50% from the 3-point stripe. That just seems, quite frankly, unrealistic.
It is unreal, right? 50.5% from the floor, 82 of 162. Almost 51%, 50.8 from behind the 3-point line, 31 of 61. I have to tell you, I mean, you don't even have college teams. You don't have pro teams that do anything close. Small sample size again, I know. But
yes.
Through 4 games, that is still really impressive.
Yeah, it is. It is impressive. I mean, but again, you got to ask yourself, if you went out to an open gym and you just shot by yourself, you're probably going to shoot at a 50, maybe 55, 60% clip. You add in defenders, and that's where you get good 3-point shooters shooting 45%. Average shooters, I'd say around 38, 35%. And then below that, obviously, someone that I always say, try to find a way to get to the rim if you're shooting below 35%.
Right.
So I think that's the big question mark, in my opinion, is can the guards of Fairfield find a way, like Deshaun Krim's a guy, he's got to find a way to get to the rim tonight in order to be successful.
Well, and that's their recipe to success, right? 40% from the floor shooting, which is even pretty low as when you throw in the 3-point shooting. But Fairfield is shooting 25% from behind the 3-point line. So if nothing else, you know their recipe is go, dive into the lane, get rebounds, and get putbacks. One other side to that, as we're concerned, looking at it from the East point of view, maybe you pack in the post tonight, knowing that that's their recipe to success. Make sure that they don't get that second chance rebound and putback.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think East is going to do what they do, though, and that's that's going to be playing tough defense. And I think if you're Fairfield, the question is can you get off to a good start and get some confidence in your young kids to let them ride that throughout the rest of the game? Of all the games, I think there's two things that could happen. Fairfield gets off to a good start. We have a great basketball game all the way through. East gets off to a good start, and you have a situation where Fairfield played Wayne, and they got beat by quite a bit. So I don't know. It's why they play the games, and we'll see how it goes.
And we are due for a break. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups in the opening tip-off. This is the Greater Miami Conference on Chatterbox Live. It's our feature game on Chatterbox Live along with Trace Fowler. I'm Jeff Kim. Thanks for joining us for our Week 7 game here at the Hawks Nest here at Lakota East. And if you're ready now, let's give you the starting lineups here in this one. First for the home team, Lakota East at 3-1, 3-0 in the GMC. Clint Adkins in his 7th year as the head coach, 120 and 37. 3-guard set. Nathan Adkins wearing number 3, 6'1", a junior. Number 4, Kyle Poppy at 6'2", a junior. And number 24, Kobe Peck, 5'11", a junior. Up front, number 5, Jaden Coles at 6'3", a junior. And number 34, Nate Johnson, 6'4", a senior. The Fairfield Indians are 5-4, but guess what? They're leading the conference at 4-0. DJ Wyrick in his 2nd year as the head coach, 12-20, after having gone 57-37 at Vandalia Butler. 3-guard set, number 2, Deshaun Krim, 6'1", a sophomore. Number 11, Logan Wood, 6'4", a junior. Number 33, Ray Coney, 6'1", a sophomore. Up front, it's number 3, Logan Murphy, 6'2", a senior. And number 24, Amir Rogers, 6'5", a sophomore. Trace, as we look at Fairfield first, I almost want to say you can call them the Little Indians or the Tiny Tribe here, because they do start 3 sophomores in that lineup.
Yeah, they're very young, and like I said, I think we talked about this at the very beginning of the year. It's a young league, really. If you look across the board throughout the GMC, you look across the court, we talk about how young Fairfield is, and I think perhaps East is saying, hey, look at us. We got one guy out there, and perhaps 2. You got another guy that comes off the bench, perhaps that helps, but realistically, you look at Nate Johnson after that, you got a bunch of underclassmen that will be back, including Charlie Kenrich, who's probably going to have a hell of a football season, I'd say.
Oh, I would imagine. By the way, as we get the starting lineups on in, we did see a fair amount of these sophomores as freshmen a year ago for Fairfield, so they are game tested and ready. Amir Rogers and Jaden Coles will jump center. Taps controlled by Nate Johnson, and away we go here at the Hawks Nest.
Glad to have you back.
Glad to be back, partner. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we progress through the game. It's Adkins up top. Coles on the baseline. Johnson gets a touch. Will direct traffic. 20 seconds gone on by. Coles puts it on the deck. Pops off the short corner. No good. The rebound down to Logan Murphy. Here comes Fairfield.
It's a good first possession for the Indians on defense. Cole's a guy to keep an eye on throughout this game. I think he's a little bit of an X factor for East. A very good player. Struggled a little bit against Middletown.
Deshaun Krim on the stop and go, stuck outside the lane. Here's a long 3 off the left side. No good. No good for Ray Coney. They play up front. Adkins loses it on the baseline, and it's turned over to Fairfield.
Yeah, just a little bit aggressive there for Pop.
Beg your pardon, it was Kyle Poppy as opposed to Nathan Adkins.
Poppy looked up at the rim before he got the handle of it, and unfortunately the ball didn't just bounce as high as he had thought.
Coney directing traffic and now plays it on over to Logan Woods. Gets the first touch. Diagonal pass. Amir Rogers. 2-0 Fairfield.
Yeah, I think Coney got in there and he put it through, but a good find by Woods, as you had mentioned on there on the backside block.
Thank you for correcting me on that. Coney is 33, not 23 there. 2-0 Fairfield. Poppy. Here's a 3 straight on for Peck. Missing the shot. 2-0 on the outset. Krim pops 3. Off the left wing, no good. One and done for Fairfield this time down.
Yeah, and that's a shot that East is going to give up all night long.
Peck to the rack. Missed the shot. Amir Rogers gets the rebound at 6'5", one of the top 5 rebounders in the conference. Krim, corner three, he knocks it down, 5-0 Fairfield.
There's the quick start that I had mentioned for Fairfield. Can you get off to a good enough start to where you start to build a little bit of confidence? And in order to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? And I think that's what we're dealing with tonight. And East has been that man in this league for quite some time.
Coles now plays Johnson top of the key, stuck at the free throw line, draws the double. Poppy drops it down low. Coles low on the right, feeds mid-post, nice turnaround, in and out, everything but the bucket. The rebound to Logan Murphy for Fairfield. He plays Krim up ahead, outside the lane on the right, will set up his offense. 5-0 Fairfield, 5:27 to go here in this first. Up high on the right, Coney gets a touch off the high screen. Between the circles, nowhere to go against Kobe Peck, and they switch. Logan Woods back on over for Murphy. So one Logan to the other, Krim outside the lane, back on over to Logan, and Logan Murphy gets his first deuce of the night. 7-0. 3 minutes gone by here in this first quarter. Johnson plays, Kyle Poppy looking inside. Some bad spacing here for East, and they settle it. Peck plays it now. Adkins gets a touch. Poppy drops it inside, and it's tapped away. Intended down low for Johnson, and tapped out of bounds by Logan Woods. You're a little surprised by the 7-0 score.
Not quite. I mean, like I said, I mentioned East has had a problem putting all four quarters together. And you have to ask yourself, is this the quarter? And we'll see.
Well, in the last game that you had on Tuesday, right, it was the third quarter.
Absolutely.
Johnson backs off the dribble. Kobe Peck. Poppy looking inside. And good job by Fairfield right now. They're packing the post really pretty well. Poppy pops three. Left of the key, no good. Empty possession again for Lakota East. Woods drawing. Kobe Peck on a defensive assignment. So is Kobe picking up where Trevor Howard left off a year ago. As Krim fires three along the sideline, and he knocks it down for his second trifecta.
Yeah, that's a guy that has not shot well from the three-point line this year, and that's back-to-back threes that have gone down for him.
Coming into this ball game shooting 16% from behind the arc. He makes it 10-0. Johnson, spin dribble, mid-post, kick out. Corner three, too short. Loose on the floor as Kobe Peck came down there with Logan Murphy.
Looks like we're going to get a replay here, and as you can see, ball kicked out to Krim, and Krim did a good job of catching it in rhythm and putting it in the bottom of the net. Next thing you know, you look up, and it's 10-0. And you mentioned, at what point do you draw the line in the sand and you start to get worried if you're an East fan? I'd say you're getting pretty close. You spot a team 10 points to begin the game, and you almost have basically over a half of a quarter gone. It's tough to beat anybody by 10 points within a full game, let alone three quarters.
Adkins out, same with Kyle Poppy. We did see Evan Spicer come in wearing the number 33. Here's Johnson, mid-post, pumps 10 feet away, cannot get it to fall as it irons out. Coney goes on over for Logan Woods. Checked by Nate Johnson, 10-0's the score. So to kind of set this up for you here, Lakota East is the defending district champions. Obviously, they're the defending conference champions as well. And right now, both are undefeated in conference. Right now, despite the 5-4 record, it's a perfect 4-0 start in conference for the Indians, and they are the top dog right now. So top dog versus last year's top dog. Coney mid-post, stuck there, shoots around Coles, and one!
Wow, what a good job by Coney of using his frame to his advantage. He's a bigger guard. I mentioned that all year long. That's a situation where he had a good guy guarding him in Coles. And you can see Coles is straight up, but he just loses leverage there and falls forward, and Coney's able to put it down for two.
Peck comes up, and number 15, Daniel Malumba, comes on in for Lakota East. 12-0 with 2:44 left to go here in this opening period. Fairfield pitching a shutout. Coney irons out off the back end.
Good take by the young kid.
And the drought is broken. That's Jack Kranagi who came in on the last dead ball. 6'2", a sophomore, 12-2.
Yeah, he got away with the walk. I shouldn't say he got away with it. He got caught with it. And shuffle his feet and a turnover. And, again, if you're Fairfield right now, just take care of the basketball and finish this quarter out strong and see if you can't, at least come out with an 8-point lead after the first quarter.
Johnson handles against Logan Woods. Kranagi puts it on the deck. Swings it to the near side. Mulumba gets his first touch. 2 minutes to play here in this first quarter. Mulumba, he picked up the dribble.
Well, he did, and he also shuffled his feet. Similar to the same thing that happened to Woods down there, and a couple, I'd call them unforced turnovers. I do know there's defensive pressure, but ultimately not enough pressure there to force that type of turnover. And again, with 1 minute and 59 seconds left here, is there a way that you can run a little offense and perhaps sneak a basket in here with 1 minute and 20 seconds left or so?
Coney with 4 points in the book, handles the ball. Checked by Daniel Mulumba, wearing the 15 for Lakota East. Woods to the outside. High-low pass and an in. That's a beauty. And the finish by Logan Woods, his first deuce of the night.
Yeah, a little frustration here for the Hawks, and you can tell they have not been in this predicament perhaps ever in their careers.
14-2. Woods scores for the first time, averaging 17 points a contest so far this season. Drive by Kranagi, shot off at the free throw line. Spicer.
This is the guy you got to get going if you're East.
Oh, Johnson. That's a pretty move and one!
That's more than a pretty move. I'd say that's an incredible move. At the end of the day, you got to find a way to get your best player the ball and see if you can't find a way to get the momentum turned. It's a situation there in the lane for Johnson that not many guys in this league are going to make that play.
Fouls on Amir Rogers, and he gets the shooter's roll. Johnson averaging 18 points a ballgame. He's the 5th leading scorer in conference this year. He makes it 14-5. So in talking through that last move by Nate Johnson, double team, step through to the right, had enough body control to lay it in. I got to tell you, I mean, that's about as good as they get.
Yeah, he does. Fairfield's got another good look from the outside.
Shot no good from Owen Bronston, who's into this contest. Here's a corner three. No good for Logan Woods.
Those are winning plays right there by Fairfield. What a move.
Oh, what a move, but no finish there for Ray Coney.
And one thing that cannot go unnoticed is Logan Murphy right there just went in there as a guard, perhaps one of the smaller kids on the floor, and just ripped down an offensive rebound and kept that possession alive. Another offensive rebound later, and next thing you know, Coney's going to the line for 2.
By the way, that's number 2 on Jaden Cole, so he's in foul trouble. And he'll exit, I'm sure, after the next free throw. Coles and Mulumba come out. Atkins comes in, and so does Kobe Peck. Got them both. Coming in, Coney was a 33% shooter at the line. He makes it 16-5.
Yeah,
we're a half minute away from the end of this first quarter.
Obviously, it doesn't need to be said, but I feel bad if I don't say it's an incredible quarter for the Indians. An absolutely great job of coming out here ready to play from the jump. And they got East on their heels a little bit. You can see there's a little hesitation even on the offensive end for Lakota.
Peck at the center jump circle, and the countdown will begin. Johnson with 5 on the clock. He pulls up from 15, a high arcing shot, and a foul. With 0.6 seconds left to go here in this first.
Yeah, in a situation
where, beg your pardon?
I was going to say, you can't foul a jump shooter in a situation like that. 0.6 of a second left on the clock. But, again, I guess if you're going to play that well of a half, something probably will go bad at some point.
Fouls on Deshaun Krim. That's his first. That's a 3rd-team foul for visiting Fairfield. Johnson now 1 of 2 at the line. He did have hit the bonus the last time on down. 1 of 2. Here's the heave-ho, and that's it for this first quarter. It has been the Fairfield Indians leading the way in this one, 16-6. This is the Greater Miami Conference here on Chatterbox Live. 16-6 here at the Hawks Nest here at Lakota East, along with Trace Fowler. I'm Jeff Kim. Visiting Fairfield has a 10-point lead. They jumped out to a 12-0 run to start out this contest, and I got to tell you, you had said something in the first quarter, and it made a lot of sense. Lakota East does not know that where they're at right this second.
No, not quite. It's like a heavyweight fighter getting knocked out for the first time, and here they come. Perhaps that was their one bad corner, and here comes the Thunderhawks.
Well, and you and I had the opening game for them this season back in December, and they did have a quarter in which they did look a little out of sorts, but, you know, and again, you know, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you chalk that up to, but if nothing else, Clint Adkins has something to coach them up on, and we got traveling on this end here as Kobe Peck is guilty of steps.
I don't know what you. I don't know. I don't think there is anything specific you can attribute it to, other than, you know, let's face it. You're dealing with 15 to 18-year-old kids, first and foremost in high school sports, and then second to the you add in COVID,
sure,
and then you get into a mix to where you never know what you might get.
Oh, Krim with the move, but no finish. Ball's loose on the floor, and we have a tie-up. Amir Rogers got tied up down low by Kyle Poppy.
Yeah, and I think that's going to turn the ball back over to East. And again, if you can find a way to just find, you see they shot 50% from 3 this year, did Lakota. Is there a chance they could get hot there in the second quarter and even this thing up, or even, I don't want to say take the lead as crazy as that sounds, but it wouldn't shock me a bit.
Johnson along the sideline, gets a high screen, will dribble out. Poppy puts it on the deck, leaves it for Nathan Adkins, and now Peck on over for Johnson, who rotates on over to the near side. Mid-post, nice turnaround, puts it up off glass, no good, and one and done this time on down for Lakota East. And we got a blocking foul. Kobe Peck picks it up as he got in the way of the ball handler, Deshaun Krim.
It's a great job of defending right there by the Indians, and Logan Woods is going to be a kid that to keep an eye on in regards to his defensive effort. I got the privilege to watch him go up against Bowen Hardman, who obviously is going to Ohio State, very highly talented player out of Princeton, and he really just, I don't want to say shut him down, for the most part, put him on lockdown all night long.
Coney on the dribble. They come around. Woods pumps 18, and he got the shooter's roll.
That he did. And foot on the line, so it's only worth 2, but another ball going through the basket for this Indian offense.
Back to a 12-point lead. Johnson to the rack, no good. He drew the foul. With 6:24 left to go in this first half.
Yeah, wasn't a whole lot there, but at the same time, anytime you, like I said, if you force the issue, fortune favors the aggressor most times in basketball, especially when you go to the lane, and I think that's what happened there.
That's 4 team fouls against Fairfield. They're going to give that to Logan Murphy, and that's number 2 on him. So Murphy comes out. Bronston's in. They get a little bit bigger on that front line for the Indians. DJ Wyrick in his second year as Nate Johnson makes the back end. 18-7. DJ Wyrick's in his second year. 7-18 a year ago. Had a team that we saw a few times together, and we saw them in the playoffs. In fact, that memorable game against Hamilton in which they ran off to such a hot start in the first half. Here's a 3, knock it down, and they just keep on falling. Logan Woods has 7.
Yeah, and he's just seeing the ball. The basket looks like more like an ocean tonight for him so far, and you can tell just by the way he's shooting the ball. He's in rhythm, and he's just letting it go. He's not trying to guide it by any means.
Got a football score going on here, 21-7. Johnson driving baseline as it popped away, gets it back and scores.
Yeah, good hands by Krim, but Johnson fortunate the ball bounced right back in front of him, and he was able to easily laying it in.
So in trying to make that point about DJ Wyrick, last year team was very outmatched, played a lot of freshmen. No, it's turned over. Amir Rogers was alone low on the right, but they turn it over.
Yeah, that they did. And
Offensive foul, Coney.
they're going to get an offensive foul, and a little bit of a tough break there for the Indians. And so far been a little sloppy, but more than not, it's just really been Fairfield kind of dominating in every aspect of the game so far.
Well, again, wanted to make mention, like Rogers and Coney and Krim were all freshmen who played a lot of minutes last year as freshmen. They took some bruises and cuts, if you will,
Sure.
but those bruises and cuts from last year have healed, and they have played well as a unit this year. Malumba on the curl, out to the side. Oh, a beauty move for Johnson. The floater for 2 more.
It's a good job of just not only getting in the lane, but using your athleticism to rise above everybody else, and just knowing that you're not going to get your shot blocked once you get in there.
Johnson has Lakota East 9 of their 11 points, 21-11. Rim, and before he can make the move, we got a foul down on the baseline.
Yeah, here's that move by Johnson. And again, you can see here with the backboard camera, he comes in from the right of your screen and just flicks it. And like I said, anytime you're able to elevate, you know you're not going to get your shot blocked, which gives you peace of mind. Even though Woods was there, he knew he wasn't going to get his shot blocked.
The lob entry, Amir Rogers. He's just a sophomore, so he has actually room to grow at 6'5" and a big body. Spin move by Coney, can't get it to fall, and we've got a stoppage here, and we should have some throws as well as Coney comes up limping.
Yeah, he actually got hit in the knee to knee over there on the right wing, and he powered through it. You could see he was grimacing a little bit, and then he's on. It's one of those situations where when you see you got a lane to the basket, it no longer hurts anymore.
Coney got Fairfield out to the hot start here in this one as he gets the first.
And they're getting them all to fall down here. You think that they say that's what the home court roll?
Yes.
Not so much tonight there for East. It seems like down here at this end, a couple fortunate bounces for the Indians.
Well, if you remember a season ago, as Coney lets fly on the second and good, if you remember a season ago, you and I had talked a lot about Fisher-Price rims.
I don't know if that's the case here. I'll be honest. I think these are actually, I don't want to call them regulation, but good rims.
Kuranagi, he goes to the up and under, no good, one and done this time on down.
Uh-oh.
Here's Krim to the rack and in. 8 for Deshaun Krim, 25-11. This is the biggest lead of the ball game. Johnson in midair, drew the contact low on the right with 4:12 to go.
Malumba's very fortunate down here that he didn't get called for this. You can see, I think he got bumped pretty good. Did Krim? Perhaps not. Look, a good little flailing action there by Krim. He fooled me in real time, but back at the replay, he didn't really get touched at all. Down here, it's going the Indians' way because they got called for a block. He kicks it to the corner to a wide open Kuranagi. Kuranagi buries it, but all for naught because it's going to go to the baseline.
Amir Rogers, saddle with 2, comes out. Johnson, deep along the corner, penetrates. He draws a double. He kicks it out. Kuranagi passes up the 3, now dumps it down low. Spicer low on, dumps it back on over, and a score, Kobe Peck.
Yeah, good job by Peck of being strong with the ball down low. More times than not, guards down there do not finish because they're anticipating contact instead of playing through contact.
Averaging 7 a ball game, his first deuce. Breaks the scoring drought, 25-13. Bronston on the drive, shut off by Spicer.
This is a critical 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this game. It's go one of two ways. The Indians go into the half with a big lead, and or perhaps the East finds some momentum and then, like I said, tightens this thing up.
We hadn't mentioned Jalen Burlew's name in this one. He wears number 0. He has the ball in the corner. His shot is blocked off the corner by Malumba. So Burlew is a 6'1" senior guard on this team. So I harken back to last year's Fairfield team where they were really driven by a senior guard, Xavion Ricks, if you remember, and then Colin Singer kind of helped along the way with Deshaun Krim as a 3-guard set, and that's how they really drew their offense. and they still are trying to find their way shooting from the outside, and at least they've gotten some shots to fall tonight as Krim eyes 3, working on Spicer.
Yeah, Krim's got a mismatch right now.
He took it to the rim, but before he can get the shot on up, it's a foul. It's on Spicer.
Yeah, I think Krim can get to the rim on almost anybody that he wants. And anytime you get a forward and or a center, Spicer's not the matchup that East would like in front of him. And give credit to Krim for being a young player and realizing that and taking his time and driving to the hole and picking up a foul.
Krim, direct entry, Bronston off the back iron, and we've got a foul.
Wow, they're going to call basket interference with touching the net.
I don't know.
And that's tough. But nonetheless, I mean, like I said, you got to pull down an defensive rebound at some point if you're Lakota. And I give the Indians all the credit in the world, man. They're playing well.
So before Johnson could get the shot off, you got a one-on-one coming on up with 2:48 to go here in this first half. And again, you had made mention, Trace, a few minutes ago, that it's an important set of minutes here for Lakota East to get back in this one. They're down 14. Front end is good.
Hey, more than just the score, Jeff. At some point, you got to find who you are too. And I just feel like all night long, East does not look like their traditional selves. They've been very, very, I'd call it, on the offensive end, not fluid at all. And on the defensive end, just like on that last possession, they gave a straight line drive pass right underneath the basket, and that is not something you traditionally see for a Clint Atkins coach team.
So in other words, you need to make stops.
Yeah, that's who they are. They're a defensive team first, and they have just not done a good job. And that's a situation right there. They cannot stay in front of these guards from Fairfield.
Another foul coming. It's on 23, Jack Kranagi. That's his first. So that team fouls are even at 7. So both teams are now in the bonus for the rest of the half.
And Coach Atkins knows more about basketball than I do for sure. But it wouldn't shock me, or wouldn't perhaps be a bad idea, is if you try to go into a 2-3 zone, perhaps pack it in and take your chances on them going cold from the three-point line. I think that's something that you might want to look for, considering you've not had a good chance of staying in front of these guys all night, man-to-man.
So Krim gets them both. Well, that's a good point. And now they have 3 made threes here in this ball game. And I got to tell you, I didn't think they were going to have 3 made threes for this contest. Peck eyes the basket. Spicer on the curl. Mid-post. Draws the double. High pass. Kranagi tried to save it. It's turned over.
Yeah, and that's just another situation where if you're Kranagi, I know it's attempting to try to go after the basketball, but you've seen it clearly tip off of an Indian player, and you're trying to almost save it as if it's going off of your own team. And again, that's another turnover for this Hawks team, and they're going to have to find a little momentum here before half. Otherwise, this might get away from them.
Murphy, Krim. Out on the elbow. Bronston for 3.
Wow.
He knocks it down. Owen Bronston doubles their pleasure. 32-15. Malumba up high. Kranagi gets a touch. Peck with 1:40 to play here in this first half. Kranagi sets the high screen initially for Malumba. Johnson now has it up high on the left. Looks to make his move. Pumps. Just inside 15 feet away and got the shooter's roll. 13 in the book for Nate Johnson. 32-17. Logan Woods makes a move, shut off by Spicer. Now draws a double, throws it away, but before we can have that, we got contact in the middle of the floor. It's on Evan Spicer. He picks up his second. With 1:08 to go here in this first half, that's 18 fouls now against Lakota East.
That it is, and for those at home, Joe's over here freaking out because the score had frozen up on him. Hopefully at halftime we'll figure that out, but it is 32-17.
And we'll keep a running verbal tab of it, no problem here. So the front end of one of the bonus is good. Logan Woods at the line, averaging 17 a ball game. The team's leading scorer looking for his 9th point of the night. He does not get it. Johnson the rebound, again, quickly out in front. Oh, nice step through. Did he carry the ball, though?
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I don't think there's no doubt.
So right now, the rest of the team offensively is cold for the Thunderhawks tonight. Nate Johnson has accounted for 15 of the 17 points on the board. That you're not going to win, or you're going to have a hard time winning if you're going to have that kind of point margin, if you will, from all the scorers on the book.
Yeah, too heavily relying on one guy is what you're getting at there without question. You got to spread that over the course of an entire team. And obviously you're going to have some guys like Nate Johnson who are going to dominate to a certain extent, but not quite that much.
33-17 is your score, a 16-point edge for visiting Fairfield.
There's a 5-second call, and the first time all night where East is actually forced a turnover on the defensive end. A good job by Carnegie making sure he stays with his man.
Well, here's the interesting thing. It's maybe a little unfair to compare this year's team to last year's team, right? But how many times you see 33 up on our scoreboard, right? How many times did you see 33 up on the board at what point in the second half?
Sure.
For a visiting team or an opposing team against Lakota East.
No doubt, and you give, like I said, the Indians all the credit in the world. They came out and hit shots at the beginning of this game, and you said you don't know if they'd hit 3 threes all night long, let alone 4 in the first half.
Under 30 to play. Peck. Johnson up high on the right. Going to play for a final shot on this one. And the countdown will begin here. High screen set for Johnson. He now draws the double. He whips it to Kobe Peck. He penetrates. He goes right to the rack. No good. He'll go to the line with 0.7 seconds left to go here in this first half.
Yeah, good job of Peck of realizing that was his best chance of trying to find a way to put points on the board. A lot of players right there probably catch that ball, take one dribble, and shoot it because they think they might run out of time. A very good job in his mind of knowing how much time's on the clock, how much time he had to get to the rim, and he did a good job of getting to the line.
So Kobe Peck is the only other player on Lakota East lineup to score tonight. He gets the first. He came into the ballgame 4 for 6 at the charity stripe. That's 67%. And he got the shooter's roll. Here's the entry out of bounds. Did it even hit in play, or will they have to reset the clock?
That's the question.
So we see 3 zeros up on the clock here. And they're going to call it a half. 33-19 is your score at halftime. That's a big old half mercy for visiting Fairfield, trying to keep their lead in the conference. We are, or do you want to? We're good. Okay, so we'll get a timeout here. We'll get a timeout here. When we come back, we'll break down half number 1 and look ahead to half number 2. This is the Greater Miami Conference here on Chatterbox Live. We're at the half, and surprise, surprise, the visiting Fairfield Indians are leading this one in a blowout score right now through 16 minutes, 33-19. Along with Trace Fowler, I'm Jeff Kim. Surprised? I know you weren't surprised necessarily in the first quarter, but now we're through 2.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised a little bit in the first quarter because I think that even though East can play bad basketball at times, like I said, 1 quarter apiece, they're usually not, they don't find themselves down 12, 13, 14 points. You know, they might be down 6 or 5, something that's manageable to come back on. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to find a way, like I said, you got to put 4 or 5 minutes worth of good basketball to find a way to get back in this game. If you're the Indians, hey, just keep riding that wave, baby. It's been going well all night long for you. And some of it's the fact that they're a good team. You know, I don't know what happened. Obviously, I've seen the score up there at Wayne. I don't know what happened. Wayne obviously must have, I know they have a good program. But, you know, the fact that they got beat by, 30 points, just it's hard for me to imagine this Indians team, the same one that I'm seeing tonight, get beat by 30 points almost to anybody.
Well, and a good job in rebounding, no pun intended, right? Last Tuesday, as these Indians defeated Lakota West by 20 points in that one. Tonight, Fairfield went off to a 12-0 run. They were up 16-6 after one period, and then since then, 17-13 in the second period. So if we're talking like boxing and punches landed, right now all the rounds are owned by Fairfield.
They are, and I mean, I look at the total rebounds, and they've more than doubled up the Thunderhawks. You got 11 rebounds for the Indians, and you got 5 total rebounds for East. Now, again, I look at that and I think, how is that accurate? I don't know how you can only get 5 rebounds, but you know, some of it's when the ball goes through the net, you can't get a rebound, right? That's it. If there's a foul and guy misses the first one but makes the second one, that eliminates a rebound there. So perhaps the 5 is accurate. Yeah, I look through this, and everyone obviously jumps the turnovers, but both teams have 5 turnovers apiece. That's not the difference tonight.
Fairfield will get the ball to start off half number 2, and away we go with Ray Coney. Checked by Jayden Coles, who was saddled with too quick very early in the first, and we got a foul as Krim was doubled up, sandwiched up high on the right. 8 seconds into the second half. They're going to give that to Kobe Peck. That's number 2 on him. By the way, it's not by coincidence. Young man named Kobe wearing the number 24.
No, absolutely not.
Here's a steal. Speaking of, and he scores 2 of his own. (33-21) is your score.
Must have heard you talking about him.
Well, you know, it's been a while since I've been able to talk about anybody.
That's true.
We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. Coney, mid-post jumper. No good.
Look at Amir Rogers.
Rogers with the one-arm rebound. No good, but a foul.
Yeah, using his length to his advantage, and a good job by Rogers of just, you know, being smart enough not to reach over Coles. And Coles is obviously frustrated because he felt like there wasn't a whole lot of contact there, and he was able to pull down the board. But Rogers is going to go to the line and see if he can't extend this lead.
33-21, Amir Rogers, who is just a sophomore. Bricks off the back end, no good. 3.5 points a ball game, 6.5 boards a ball game, Trace. That is good for number 4 in the conference. Behind Brady Weber at Lakota West, Ben Sutherland at Sycamore, and Bryce Darbyshire also at Sycamore. No good on the back end, too. Kranagi off the wing, now comes corner, and now the skip back outside.
Big possession right here for East.
Peck on the deck, season opening, wrap around pass, Kranagi back outside Johnson. Johnson lost the handle in the paint. Logan Murphy came up with it. And one.
Beautiful job by Woods of realizing he had an advantage. He had the ability to stop on a dime and put up a jump shot over top of Atkins, who's not as tall as him. And again, the same comfort level that Johnson has when he goes in the lane is what Woods had right there. He knew he wasn't going to get a shot blocked. And a lot of guys right there try to take that to the hole and get a charge. And instead, he pulled up from 6 feet, knocks it down, and gets the bucket.
He's got 11 in the book. 3 coming on that last play, 36-21. A 15-point spread between the two teams. Johnson behind the high screen from Kyle Poppy. High-low to Kobe Peck, and one! Ray Coney picks up the personal.
Yeah, Coney there just kind of put his hands down, not vertical for just a moment, enough for Peck to go right through contact, and you'll be able to see this here on the replay. And anytime you can bring your hands down just slightly, and you can see right there by Coney, and a good job by Peck finishing through contact.
So Kobe spurring the offense here for Lakota East to open up half number 2.
That almost felt like the possession they needed last time down the floor to cut it within 10. Instead, the Indians go down. They get a 3-point play. But here comes East again.
Peck has 9, 36-24 is your score here at the Hawks Nest. Woods plays Krim. Murphy returns it to Krim. He spots up 3. Off the back iron. Rogers tried to chase it down, trying to see who actually did. We've got contact.
I think they're going to get Rogers on the foul. Kobe Peck playing really hard down there, and I'm not sure there was enough contact to warrant a whistle, but Kobe went down so hard it almost felt like it drew the whistle from the ref. Again, I don't know if there was enough contact there, but as hard as he fell, it just felt like something had to be called, and Rogers picks up the personal.
I think you accentuate a point as we have a stoppage. Little yickety-yak down on the low block. They're going to get Owen Braunston, and he'll pick up number 1. And that's already 3 team fouls for both teams here in the earlier go of the second half.
Another big possession here for East on the offensive end. I think if they score, their bench is getting into it. They got some momentum going for them.
Johnson on the corner, drives baseline, kicks it back out. Kranagi. And they rotate around. Poppy gets a touch, and now Johnson again behind the Poppy screen. He fires 3 straight on!
Just what they needed, and the doctor ordered it for Johnson. And anytime you go underneath the screen, Johnson's been hitting from outside at a high clip this year and continues right there.
16 in the book for Johnson. And we got contact down low.
You feel a little momentum. You can see right here on the replay. Looks like there's not a replay, but ultimately I don't know. It's a little bit of momentum swing here, and you can start to feel it. And the bench is starting to get into it for East. We'll see if they can capitalize.
Number 2 on Deshaun Krim. By the way, you had talked a little bit about Nate Johnson's shooting prowess. 54% from behind 3 points coming in. He pops from 15 this time. No good.
See if the Indians can settle down here and find a way to do what they've done best, and that's get their guards going to the hole.
Oh, it's a single-digit lead for the first time in a while here for Fairfield.
If you're Atkins right here, I know you want to pressure him, but it's more important to just try to keep him in front of you. Let him shoot over top of you. I know he had some success at the beginning of this game, but Krim's weakness, if there is one, is outside shooting.
Kranagi nearly picked it away, but it's turned back over. With 4:40 left to go here in this third period, and if nothing else, the Thunderhawks have dialed it up defensively.
That they certainly have, and now Kranagi is going to have the task of trying to stay in front of Krim.
Kranagi, the sophomore, played at St. Xavier a year ago, has been a fine addition here, and a little touch foul on Kranagi.
Yeah, now you're getting to the position where you got 4 team fouls, and you got to keep an eye on that because you get in the bonus too early in this basketball game, and that might be the difference.
Well, free throw percentages, if you want to look at the 2, coming into this ball game, Lakota East shoots 75% at the line, Fairfield 63. Krim off a double screen up top. Now cuts the middle of the floor and a little zigzag contact there.
Yeah, I understand the concept of wanting to give a little bit of ball pressure on Krim, but you just can't do it. You don't. The athleticism isn't there enough to pressure the ball on Krim. You've got to give him some space. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in the bonus if Krim wants to be in the bonus. Because as long as he has pressure on him, he will pick up a block foul when these guys pressure on the ball.
Poppy out, Evan Spicer in. 3 on the way for Krim. Braunston puts it back for 2 of his own. Owen Braunston has 7 points off the bench, 38-27.
Beautiful job by Braunston right there of tracking that ball. It almost went over the basket, but it didn't quite, and he did a good job of sticking with it.
Adkins walked.
That he did. And caught the ball, a little bit of a shuffle there. As you can see, the ball trickled up there on that basketball, on the top of the backboard there just long enough for him to see it come down, and as soon as he caught it, one thing that most young kids do is they put the ball right back on the floor. He did not do that. He went right back to the hole.
Well, and that's what you want the big men to do.
More times than not, absolutely.
Krim rolls, high-low, looking at apparently for Braunston, but it's turned over. Braunston was, I want to say, in the vicinity.
Yeah, well, Johnny Bench couldn't even have caught that fastball. So Krim's going to learn to try to bounce past that thing if you're going to throw it that hard inside there. Anything that quick is not going to be caught.
Kranagi By the way, I got a little anecdote about Johnny Bench in just this moment.
Good pass.
High-low Spicer.
Beautiful job of Carnegie of seeing the space right there in the lane and feeding Carnegie for the easy two. And now, again, finding a way for the Indians to get back on track. You can start to see it slip just a little bit here.
East cuts it back to 9.
What a move.
Grimm dumps it off. Shots blocked. However, Rogers cleans it up for 2 of his own. Amir averaging 3.5 a ball game, an 11-point contest. Here's Johnson. I think he shuffled his feet. No, it's a charge.
They're going to call an offensive foul on that, and I don't know how much contact there was, but hey, if he might have had a better angle than I, and a big call in a big situation. Again, Krim, he's the straw that stirs the drink, Jeff. I'll be honest. He's the guy that can find a way to get in the lane. And he's the one, even though Woods was the beneficiary of the easy two, Krim was the reason they scored.
Carnegie out Atkins in, the coach's son. A double team and a near steal. It's still loose on the floor, and it's tapped out of bounds right in front of DJ Wyrick.
And it's just one of those nights so far for the Hawks. You get a ball stolen away, and you go to pick it up, and you fumble it out of bounds.
Woods plays to Krim. Fairfield up by 11. They have held serve here in this third with 2.5 to play. Rogers on the elbow. Can't move around Spicer, so he'll give it back up for Woods. Woods penetrates. He draws the double team. He kicks it out. Here's a 3 off the left side. No good for Braunston. One and done this time down. Here's Johnson for Lakota East. Down the lane. He jams it through. Mercy.
And they're going to call a technical foul on hanging on the rim.
And Clint Atkins is livid.
Yeah, and I don't blame him. We'll watch this through here. We'll see if he hangs. I get the point of it. I'll be honest. I think that in high school basketball, I wouldn't call that a terrible call, Jeff. The only thing I'll say is sometimes you just let it live a little bit. And I think that, but a rule's a rule, you know. And if he misses the next one, there's a line in sports that has been said for years, and that is the ball don't lie. But Coach Atkins is pleading that he had to hang on the rim for his own safety, and that's the argument.
Exactly. That's the momentum carried him so hard and so far forward as Logan Woods makes 1 of 2 that he did have to hang on.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, if I'm Coach Atkins, I know you don't want to burn a timeout per se, but if you call a timeout right now and you just get in your guys' tail, there is some momentum that comes out of a technical sometimes from that team, and we'll see if the Hawks can find some momentum after the technical.
By the way, as a quick aside, even though Lakota East is on the wrong end of the score, is that the headlines play of the night?
So far, absolutely.
3 on the way, Braunston no good. Here's Johnson. Let's see, he wants to go again. High-low for Peck. It's intercepted by Grimm, taken back by Peck, and he is tied up by Braunston.
Yeah, Coach Atkins called a timeout there, or at least his assistant did before there was a tie-up. And I said it before. Technical sometimes provides the spark you've been looking for. And so far, even though it's been a short sample size, I feel like East has picked up that intensity. Fairfield, however, you said it, they've held serve. Although you felt like the momentum was getting pulled away from them, they found a way to find baskets when they needed them the most. And so far, if you had told DJ Wyrick 1:44 left in the third period, you up by 10, he'd have thought he was stealing something.
Absolutely. Along with Trace Fowler, I'm Jeff Kipp. Thanks for joining us. It's the Greater Miami Conference on Chatterbox Live. We've been entertained here, most recently by Nate Johnson, and you may see that on the box score tonight. And
right.
It's the 2021 debut. Yourself, Reed, and Sean, I can't wait. The thing that I'm wondering going into tonight's box score, if you'll have a swear jar and who'll be putting dollars in that one tonight.
We'll see. I don't know. I tell you, the swear jar almost didn't need to exist when Reed wasn't on the show. So
out of the timeout, it goes to Johnson. Low on the left. It can't go. Spicer tried to put it back. That's no good.
And if you're the Indians, you got numbers if you push it.
Woods to Braunston, outside the arc. Criminal reset with 1:30 left to go here in this third, checked by Kobe Peck. Woods with a nice left-hand dribble. Ways Murphy lost the handle initially. It'll stay up front. It's out of the hands of Nate Johnson, who came in and poked him from behind.
You know, there's one thing that I've said all along ever since I've watched Nate Johnson, and it's he's an unbelievable athlete. But there's times in which I feel like perhaps he doesn't take full advantage of his athleticism. Right now, he's engaged. He's ready to play, and I think part of that was that technical down here on his end.
Woods shot off on the drive. Krim penetrates. And we got a whistle stopping play.
Yeah, we're going to be in the 1-and-1 already, Jeff, and that's a situation where Krim, again, driving in, and they're going to get a foul, I believe, on Kobe Peck. Oh, they're
15, Daniel Malumba, that he picks up his first, and he'll come out of the game, and Jack Kranagi will take his place. Evan Spicer checks out. See the return of Jalen Burlew for the Fairfield Indians as well, as he takes the place in the lineup for Amir Rogers, and they go a little smaller in this lineup with 1:08 to play. Irons off the back end, and Cole's the rebound. Quickly to Johnson. Up front to Kranagi. Puts it on the deck. Pulls up the leaner, and good.
Good job by Kranagi, but he might have gotten away with some steps there as he catches the ball. But nonetheless, we'll see if the Indians can match it. 50 seconds left. Do you hold for the last shot?
If you're Fairfield?
Yeah.
Oh, good question.
Well, the answer is no. Looks like the answer to them, at least, is no.
Murphy, mid-post. Back out to Bronston, left of the lane. Now it's a Darkin, stolen away by Johnson. Johnson to the rack, has a shot block. Peck cleans him up for two.
And now you have to hold for the last shot. I know that the last possession you might say, there's a lot of time on the clock, but I'm here to tell you, you've just let East right back into this basketball game with some momentum, and now they're one stop away from going into this fourth quarter thinking they're going to win.
And the parents and family crowd comes alive here at the Hawks Nest. Krim outside the arc. He lets fly for three.
Wow.
He knocks it down. A big three it is for Deshaun Krim. Here's a half-court shot. Too strong.
Wow.
Mercy.
Here's your headlines play of the night for me, Jeff. Step back three. And he's lucky, Peck is lucky they didn't get the and one there on the three. And I'll be frank, on the opposite end here with Johnson, there was some contact there as well.
We head to a timeout, 44-35. This is the game of the week here on Chatterbox Live. It's the Greater Miami Conference on Chatterbox Live, along with Trace Fowler. I'm Jeff Kim. Thanks for joining us here for week 7 of this contest. And for those of you who might think that I might have a little deeper resonance and voice tonight, well, you'd be correct on that one.
You were out for quite some time, weren't you?
I missed you, partner.
Yeah.
I really missed you, partner. I will let it out there while we have a moment here. I was strucken down by pneumonia after week 2 of this, and the body just needed to rest.
Yeah, you talked to you a couple weeks into it, and you sounded like you were struggling quite some bit, and you had mentioned it was a long journey back. What'd you say, you're 80%?
I would say about 80%. I only sound like your chain-smoking aunt right now, as opposed to the garbage disposal that you would normally use. Here's Peck, driving baseline, shut off by Coney. Out to Johnson, cuts through, jams it through again!
Are you kidding me? This is the guy that I'd like to see for the whole game, right? When he's ready to play, it's game over. But there's times where I'm telling you, maybe it's just when you're so damn good sometimes you forget how good you can be. And trust me, for the rest of this game, 7 minutes and 25 seconds, you're going to see the best of this East team.
Here's a drive for Krim, the right-hander charge.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it, Jeff.
That feels like a makeup call.
Well, I don't know about that, but I will say this. You can see the dunk here by Johnson, and he's just going up with authority. And like you said, I don't know. I doubt we have the one down here on this end, but ultimately – Atkins got a little bit of a break. He was sliding in there underneath Krim, and tough call for the Indians. But this is where I had said before, right? You have experience in tight games and meaningful games. So what next play if you're the Indians? You can't worry about it. You got to get back right on the horse. You've played well all night long, and you can't let a call dictate how you're going to play the rest of this game.
44-37. It's a 7-point contest. 50 seconds gone by here in this fourth. Johnson Thinking about another step through, this time on the baseline, dribbles out. Keeps it alive, works on Woods. Now pumps the fadeaway 18, no good. Loose on the floor, still loose and saved by Logan Murphy of Fairfield.
Yeah, Coles kind of leaked out a little too early on that offensive end. He was there for the rebound, but he started to drift towards midcourt a little too much, and the Indians were able to pull down the board.
From a momentum standpoint, does Fairfield need a bucket here?
I don't think they need one, but that might be nice.
Corner three, no good for Murphy.
Good look for Murphy and a good job of letting it go.
Johnson, step through, the kick out. Here's Coles from the corner, no good.
Couple
One and
times tonight, Coles has shot the ball, and he just hasn't got his legs underneath him. The ball's come out flat, and it's never really even given it a chance to go in.
The score remains the same, 44-37.
There's a trap.
Grimm draws the double team. He dumps it off Murphy. Rogers gets a touch, back outside, Woods for three.
Wow. Oh, and there's a technical again. I'm telling you what, this guy right here at midcourt, as we got a replay, looks like that replay is not wanting to fire for us, but I don't know if we can get a shot here. My man here at midcourt, he's letting the technicals ride.
So Logan Woods picks up number 2. And Nate Johnson will go to the line and shoot technical free throws. Irons out on the first. Nate came in shooting 71.5%. Here's the replay now.
Yeah, you can see Woods catch it in rhythm and just letting it rip. And I don't know if they're going to get – you can see him talk just a little bit there at the end of that replay. And this is the no fun zone tonight, Jeff. No fun up in this house. Can't talk, can't hang on rims. Forget it.
1 of 2 on free throws, technical free throws for Nate Johnson. He's got 21 to lead all scorers.
Which makes me think NFL's coming up this weekend.
Sure.
They always call it the No Fun League for quite some time.
Yes.
They finally let these guys start to celebrate. And how enjoyable has that been? Just let these guys have some fun in the end zone when they make a play.
Kobe Peck plays.
Good
Atkins,
backdoor
high
pass.
And a missed jam for Nate Johnson this time.
A little overzealous right there is Johnson, but you can't blame him, right? I mean, he's been throwing them home all night long, but that feels like a humongous miss right now.
9-point spread. Woods. Oh, the high-low. Murphy. Logan Murphy gets 2 more. He's got 4 in the book.
Give this Indian squad a lot of credit. Every time they've needed a basket, they found it.
3, knock it down. Johnson with 24 in the book.
Well, it's starting to heat up now, isn't it?
Absolutely. Grimm off the high screen from Rogers, dumps it off to the corner to Rogers. Johnson defends him there, plays back to Grimm, lost it on the floor, and it's turned over. By the way, something I want to bear mentioning because of what it is. You mentioned Johnny Bench in the last quarter, who had been one of the hosts of a show called The Baseball Bunch. That's before your time, correct?
Yeah, I'd say so.
It ran from 1980 through 1985. It was hosted by Bench, the San Diego Chicken, and now, unfortunately, as of today, the late Tommy Lasorda.
Now, I don't know if they have a replay down there or what, but they're saying they reversed their call based off of another referee's angle.
So the throw in. Here's Murphy from the corner. No good. Johnson the rebound.
Johnson's, I don't think I have a hard time believing he did give it up after all.
Johnson top of the key. Checked by Woods. Penetrates, now gives it up. Adkins back out Kranagi. They rotate back to Kobe Peck, and now on over for Coles. So everybody got a touch on this possession. Kranagi back outside. Coles for 3 off the wing. 2 hard off the back iron. Ball still loose on the floor, and Peck comes up with it, and we got a foul.
They're going to give, they're going to give East a timeout.
I don't know about that.
And I don't know who no one had the basketball, let's be
Correct.
honest, and at some point you got to get a little lucky.
49-41 with 4:16 left to go here in this ball game. Along with Trace Fowler, I'm Jeff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live, our featured game tonight, and a pretty packed list of GMC games around the league. Hamilton visiting Middletown tonight. Oak Hills at Lakota West. Coleraine at Mason. Tomorrow in the GMC, Hamilton will host LaSalle in a non-conference still. Coleraine will host Elder, same with them. And it'll be a conference matchup between Sycamore at Mason.
This feels like a big game, right? I mean, it was a big game coming in, but it certainly feels like a monumental game for the league because Fairfield starts to say, you know what, hey, we're here and we're for real. I think they've already done that, quite frankly. But I had thought this was a two-headed monster in this league between East and Mason, and the Indians have proved me wrong.
Slide out of bounds for Jaden Cole right in front of the coach. Kobe Peck right at the center jump circle. Johnson outside the lane, now drives the baseline, kicks it out, and they play it back outside. Coles for three, he knocks it down.
They needed that. Coles has struggled all night long shooting the basketball, and that was one that he finally just let it rip. You could see he guided the last one he shot, and it clanked off the backboard. At some point, you just got to let it rip, and maybe that's something Coach Atkins had mentioned in the huddle.
It's a 5-point contest at 49-44. Prim jumps it off. Murphy low on the left, the wraparound, he got it back. And he throws it back into the backcourt. And it's stolen away by Peck. Peck plays. Kranagi, left wing for three. No good. Little saran wrap off the rim. Oh, and a blocking call. It's on Adkins as Woods was trying to make his move down the sideline.
So not only did you just miss out on the three on the offensive end, but you pick up a blocking foul almost immediately. And you go to the line for 2 free throws. I guess it'd be a 1-and-1. Next foul would put him in the double bonus.
That's 9 team fouls on Lakota East. Well, if nothing else, they've played inspired here in the second half. And I know you want the win, but at the same time, as lethargic as Lakota East looked in that first half, as Woods makes the first, this felt like a blowout all the way after 16 minutes. And Lakota East has come I don't want to say all the way back, but they've really made significant progress here. Got them both.
And I think the Indians haven't, like I said, they've impressed me from the standpoint that they have been able to land the counterpunch every time they've gotten punched, I feel like, tonight.
Here's a 3 straight on, no good for Johnson. Prim the rebound. By the way, Woods with that last couple of free throws has 17 in the book. 3:09 to go. Prim makes a move and has it taken away by Kobe Peck. Drops it off for Johnson now. Kranagi. Oh, nice curl to the rack and one. No, there's no score here, but he drew the foul.
That he did, and Kranagi, a guy that's known for obviously shooting the ball from the outside, decided he was going to just didn't feel comfortable, I guess, if you will, from the three-point line and put the ball on the deck. Could get a chance to score a couple from the line, but 2:56 left. It's really a matter of 3 or 4 possessions left in this thing. Can you find a way to get stops on the defensive end if you're East? That's the question mark. If you're the Indians, I think it's just a matter of sticking with. See if you can't stick with Krim. Let him be the ball handler around the outside and pick up a foul.
By the way, that's 4 personals on Ray Coney, and Kranagi makes them both. 6 off the bench for Jack Kranagi. Back to a 5-point spread. And if you're Lakota East, you need a defensive stop on this possession.
Yeah, you do, and this is the man you want with the ball, if in my opinion, for the Indians. And I don't know why you need to give him a ball screen, perhaps, because he can get to the lane on his own.
3 off the wing, too strong.
That's a foul on Poppy.
And we got a foul underneath the hoop. Kyle Poppy picks up his 4th.
Yeah, that's a good call. Poppy was just slightly less than tackling Amir Rogers as he was going for that rebound. And how can you blame him, right? Just a little overmatched from a size perspective.
By the way, speaking of tackling, Poppy was a starting defensive back for the football team in the fall.
There you go.
Got the back end. Rogers with 4 points in the book. All in the second half. 53-46.
It's a championship possession right here, in my opinion. You got to find a way to put the ball in the basket if you're East.
Johnson off the screen, pumps 15, no good. He tries to get the rebound, and it's off Johnson. It belongs to Fairfield.
Yeah, that's a big-time stop for Fairfield because at this point you can start to kind of take the air out of the basketball. So we got some substitutions here for East. But there's one guy in particular that you got to find, and that's number 2 if you're the Indians.
Full court man pressure shown by Lakota East, and they drop off.
A 10-second call.
Coney draws a double team and finds Woods. Woods, checked by Evan Spicer. No, beg your pardon, Jack Granagi. They feed inside. Coney gets to the foul. Back to a 9-point contest. Peck goes to the rack and one!
Yeah, and Coach Weilrich's just trying to tell his guys, stay calm, relax. Okay, that's not the end of the world. I know it's a big play for them. But ultimately, I think the game is going to be won at the line for this Indian squad. If they can just take care of the basketball, I think they're going to be okay.
That's number 3 on Logan Murphy. Peck at the stripe, completes. 6-point contest. And give Fairfield credit. Lakota East has not been able to get past that 5-6-point hump.
No, I give the Indians all the credit in the world. They're doing a good job of looking up. And as soon as
Tony draws the double and finds Krim. Out on the sideline, Rogers out on the sideline, and
they're going to get a foul on Coles. Well,
should be number 4 on Jaden. Should be the double bonus the rest of the way. As we had mentioned, Amir Rogers had seen plenty of time on the floor a year ago, so the sophomore has been quite something. His free throw attempts, by the way, in this ball game that we've seen, his first of the year. He'd come out without any attempts coming on in. So he just hit his 3rd free throw, looking for his 4th, and looking to up the lead to 8. For a guy who hadn't shot from the line, he looked awfully good.
Looks very good. Suggests he try to get there more often.
Absolutely.
You can feel the momentum for the Indians.
He had a holding call down up high on the left as Peck was trying to make a move. And that is 5 on Ray Coney. He'll have to exit with 10 points.
For something, I should say, as simple as the bench is coming alive, when you're in this type of environment where it's obviously limited crowd, when the bench gets excited, it almost feels like the entire crowd's getting fired up for that side of the squad. And you could feel the Indians bench is starting to feel it.
Front end is good. Kobe's really been particularly active here in the second half. 4 of his 5 field goals have come here in half number 2. Looking for point number 16. Back to a 6-point contest. Woods plays Krim. Lost the handle, stolen away by Peck. Peck out to the side. Here's Johnson for 3. He knocks it down. Mercy. And a timeout.
Champions just don't go away, and you can see the replay here with the steal. Peck doing a good job of picking it up. Johnson catching it right in rhythm and burying it, and they just won't go away. And we have seen this time and time and time again with this Indian squad. They've just had trouble closing out games, and some of that perhaps is youth. Some of that perhaps could be nerves. I don't know which of the two it is, but ultimately this is a game they had such in their grasp, and I've said it once, I've said it a million times. You cannot beat pressure by dribbling the basketball. You've got to look up on the floor, make a strong, crisp pass, and that's how you beat pressure. More often than not, too many guys catch it, and they think they can dribble their way out of it. Unfortunately for Krim right there, the ball got poked away, and now we got ourselves quite an Indian store now.
Oh, my gosh. It's like you look at the clock with 1:16 to go. I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are the odds that we go to extra minutes?
I'll give you a percentage. I'd say 25%.
Okay. So you think this one will actually end in regulation?
I do. I do, and I'm not saying that I can pick a side, quite frankly. I think that the question comes, we talked about free throws. They win the close ones. That is going to be the difference tonight right now for the Indians. Can they be strong with the basketball and go and hit pressure free throws?
Full court man pressure out of the timeout. Murphy goes to Woods. Out on the sideline. He draws the double team. He plays it back to Murphy. Murphy harassed there by Malumba. Back to Woods. Up front, Bronston now in overturn for Krim. He'll dribble out.
And you don't have to foul here. I'd say if you get in the 30-second range, you will foul.
Krim will draw the double.
Wow.
5-second count with 57.4 to go.
And that kind of snuck up on you a little bit. I don't know if, again, without being able to re-look at it, and I'll give the referee some credit there. I didn't have a chance to follow that along. It felt like perhaps he had enough spacing to get a reset. He didn't think so, and the momentum has completely shifted.
A three here will tie it up. Carnegie, Johnson up high on the left, off the screen. He pumps three, left wing, knock it down, we're tied! 30 in the book for Johnson. Mercy.
I tell you what, that headlines play of the night is going back and forth like a ping pong ball. Johnson, again, coming off the screen by Poppy, letting it rip, and that's just a good job by Rogers, quite frankly. There's not much more you can do than just put your hand in his face. And if you're Coach Wyrick, I know this isn't going to be easy because the East is about to put on some pressure. They're going to double you. You've got to – how many times have you heard me say this? You've got to make them pay if they're going to put pressure on you. You got to find the back door. If you beating pressure is quite simple, Jeff. You flash to the middle, you catch the ball, you look backside immediately. And more times than not, you're going to have a guy wide open. You're going to have an easy lay-in on this end. If they decide to get past this half court and East decides they're not going to pressure, I'll be honest. If I'm Coach Wyrick, I'm going to have Logan Woods and Krim do a dribble handoff for as long as I possibly can and see if I can't take this last shot and end the basketball game. The last thing I want to do is spend 20 seconds, miss the shot, and now you're in a position where you're either going to overtime or you're going to lose.
We are tied at 57 with 43.7 left to go here in this contest. What looked like a blowout in the early minutes has turned into a defining game to start off the calendar year of 2021.
This is fun. This is why sports are a beautiful thing, right? Could have never have scripted anything like this. It was Fairfield who got off to the hot start, and it was East who got knocked on the mat, found themselves to get up, and here we go.
Carnegie will defend the trigger man, and now he'll double. They throw on in to Bronston. Bronston now on over for Murphy.
Keep an eye on the 10-second.
Krim.
Bad
stuck
spot.
Along the sideline, and now we've got a whistle stop and play timeout. Charge to DJ Wyrick and the Fairfield Indians with 33.9 to go.
Love it. I love that for DJ. I mean, you had your point guard in a terrible position, buried in the corner, and you have him and you can't take him home, and you know how I feel about that. You got to use him if you feel like – and again, now you're at 33 seconds. I just feel like you have to – East is not going to let you try to hold for the last shot. I get it. But I am not taking a shot on my own here unless I have a lay-in, quite frankly.
By the way, since timeouts are now going to become a factor down the stretch, East has one left. The Indians have four left. So if nothing else, they can massage the situation if they feel like there's a trap coming and the ball handler can't handle the ball.
Absolutely. And the other concept would be, you're right. You run 12, 13 seconds off and you realize you're in trouble, call another one. The only problem with calling timeouts per se is that you have to inbound the ball coming out of the timeout.
Right.
One thing to keep notice of here, and I know that they're talking about it down here at the scores table, you're not going to be able to see this on our screen. But the scoreboard, believe it or not, down here on one end keeps going in and out, in and out. So unfortunately for East, that's the scoreboards that they are facing if they get the ball. Hopefully, for their sake, it doesn't go out. Otherwise, they're not going to know how much time's left on the clock.
Out of the timeout, it'll be Logan Murphy's side, out of bounds to the far side, just past midcourt to throw it on in. Looking inside, now looking in the backcourt, and here we go. 30 seconds to go. Krim has the ball. Checked by Kobe Peck. Little stop and go. Works around a Murphy screen. And now a blocking call. It's on Jack Kranagi with 23.2 to go.
Yeah, 50-50 call, and the Indians were fortunate that it went their way. And again, going to the line for 2 humongous free throws as a sophomore. We'll see what he has in store.
He came in as 72% shooter at the stripe this year. The front end is good. He's got 14 in the book. To be fair, Fairfield has never trailed in this game. They've allowed the one tie just moments ago.
Got to rebound the basketball, Jeff.
Got them both. 22 seconds, and away we go here on what should be an exciting finish. Johnson at the center jump circle. 15 to play. He penetrates. He kicks it out. Cole's a step around. He penetrates and goes to the rack. Missed the shot. Murphy the rebound. We got a foul with 5.7 seconds to go.
Wow. A beautiful job by East, quite frankly, of moving the basketball and making the right pass. You know, Johnson could have been selfish right there and shot that jump shot, but he made the correct pass. It ended up in Cole's hands, and I'll be honest with you, Jeff, I love Jaden Coles. He's one of the better players in this league. Tonight's not been his night, quite frankly, and that happens in sports. But you've seen one thing. They all came over and they picked him up. 2 humongous free throws here for Murphy.
The first free throw, no good. And Lakota East has life.
That they do. Now they have 1 timeout remaining, so I think that you're going to get an immediate timeout right here on a miss if you're Coach Atkins.
Got to get the rebound, obviously, for that as well.
That you do. That's a very, very good point, Jeff.
Murphy lets fly and makes it a 3-point contest. And there's that timeout that you mentioned. And again, 5.7 seconds to go. You need a 3 to tie.
Yeah, and give Murphy some credit. You missed the front end of the 2 free throws, and you find yourself in a position where if you make the next one, you put yourself and your team in a position that you can't lose. And I say can't lose with the hesitation of obviously the crazy 4-point play.
Which does happen, but it is a rarity.
It is a rarity, and I think right now there's 2 things that you could say. You're obviously just going to let Johnson do his thing and pull up. But I would not be shocked the slightest if you try to find the young sophomore in Kranagi in the corner and let Johnson really drive and kick. If you're Coach Wyrick right here, you have got to stress to your guys, we're guarding the 3-point line. We're not guarding anything else. Some would say, hey, take a quick 2 right here. With no timeouts left for East, I don't think you can take a quick 2 with only 5.7 seconds left. So we'll see what they decide to do, but I expect look for a corner 3 from Kranagi and or just Johnson coming off a screen around half court.
5.7 seconds left to go. We expect a fantastic finish here from the Hawks Nest here at Lakota East High School.
And if you're Coles, you got to keep your head up right here. You might be the guy that catches this ball, and if you're that guy, let it rip.
We're seeing man full court pressure.
Double teaming Nate Johnson right now.
Jaden Coles will trigger. Here we go with 5.7 to go. Johnson off.
They're going to foul him.
They will go, dump it off. It goes to Poppy, and now outside, Kranagi for 3 on the wing. No good, and Fairfield is upset Lakota East.
That they have, and a good job by the Indians right there on that last defensive possession of holding true. And believe it or not, the Fairfield Indians have found a way to come in to Lakota East and beat that guy.
despite 30 from Nate Johnson tonight, 60-57. What a finish tonight here in this one as Fairfield hung on for dear life. And again, as we had talked about with free throws, they made them down the stretch to seal the win.
They did, and I mean, they found a way to, like I said, Logan Murphy's back end of that 2 free throws was more important than many might think, right? The difference between 2 and 3 is incredibly different because I'll be honest, Nate Johnson catches that ball in the same situation with only down by 2. I think he's taking it straight to the hole, and he's either going to get fouled or I think he's going to finish. So give Logan Murphy, or I should say, it wasn't, Logan Murphy, all the credit in the world for knocking down that free throw.
60-57 the final as Fairfield improves to 5-0 in conference. They are the lone undefeated team in conference. Their overall record 6-4. Lakota East falls to 3-1 in the GMC, 3-2 overall.
Hey, I mean, like I said, this makes the race far more interesting now, quite frankly. This is no longer a 2-horse race, it's a 3-horse race. But like I said, East, there's something missing. I'm sure they'll find that niche. But let's just give the Indians all the credit in the world because they came in here, they played really, really well. What I would say for 3.5 quarters, I think the last half quarter, which they've shown this year, they've had problems finishing off games. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter how you finish them off if you keep winning.
Time for our headlines play of the night. Boy, a lot of them to choose from. Had we seen Lakota East pull it out, it probably would have been that 3 off the wing from Johnson to make it a tie ball game at that point. But what's yours here as we begin to put a wrapper on this
I think there's 2 plays. One that sticks out to me is the Deshaun Krim 3 down here. He kind of really broke the momentum of East. And there was another play in the game that many people might not even remember. But Ray Coney caught the ball down in the post in a pivotal situation there, and he was able to finish at the rim. And that kind of, I think, extended their lead back from 5 to 7. You mentioned there for the longest time, East was having a problem of getting it below 5. And Coney was a good situation down low to push it back to 7. And I thought if you had to put me up against the wall, I'm going to say it's Deshaun Krim's 3, quite francly.
And that's our headlines play of the night. And be sure to check us out on Twitter. We'll be posting that. And I'm sure that we'll have that on the box score tonight. And I got to tell you, I can't wait. 2 of the trifecta are here in the building with us, Sean and yourself here, and of course Reed will be joining you here back in the studio shortly. Can't wait for that. And again, I'm still waiting to see how many dollars will fill the swear jar tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's not as many as it once could have been.
Partner, thanks for a happy return.
Glad to have you back, man.
60-57 again, the final tonight. Fairfield a winner. For Trace Fowler, I'm Jeff Kim and our entire Chatterbox Live crew. We bid you good night from the Hawk's Nest.